This is the Cryptid Creature Show. I'm Brian, and with me, as always, my co-host Todd. What's up, buddy?
So I was on Facebook yesterday, as you do, and
Yeah.
I think I sent you this, but did you see that mountain lion spotted up there in Granger area, north of South
You
Bend?
did send me that. That's pretty wild.
Very wild. Literally.
Yeah, that was Norwood. That's almost to the state line, so
that's
they're
just...
probably coming on down from Michigan, coming down here.
Lady says, let all those know to be watchful. Early morning walk and runs, as well as children waiting for the bus in the morning hours, or those with dogs outside. This photo is not from that event, but uses a reference. I was in shock and denial when I witnessed it. This lady saw a mountain lion. She said, we have a large muscular pit bull, 85 pounds, that looks small in comparison to what I saw yesterday.
Oh, yeah. It most certainly would.
Running after these large bucks toward the 13th green on the fairway. This mountain lion was chasing...
I know exactly where that is.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So, the first thing that came to my mind was somebody's pet got loose.
That's a big pet.
I mean, people do...
It's chasing a deer.
Get mountain lions and
raise them. Typically see dogs. I mean... Oh, you mean the mountain lion is a pet?
Yeah, the mountain lion. Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's money over there in Norwood, so it wouldn't surprise me.
It could have came from anywhere.
Plus, just north of that in Michigan, there's a whole neighborhood of rich people. So
yeah, or somebody.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit.
But we do know, and they denied this, that they released mountain lions in Michigan. I don't think just the UP, but northern Michigan as well. These things could migrate down.
Eventually they're going to find their way down. They're not going to stay in one spot.
They're like, it's too cold up here. We're moving down. So they could be migrating down. So here we go. We got mountain lions in Indiana.
Well, I mean, what do the deers do? Do they move with the seasons?
Sure.
I mean, maybe they're come south too. So if they come south, they're going to follow the food, right?
Yep. Just
like
crazy.
Wild animals do.
It's just crazy, and cool. But it's scary,
It's awesome.
too.
It's scary, yeah.
That, you might have to watch out in your backyard there.
It's freaking Indiana. We don't have mountain lions here. Well, we do now.
So, yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that was cool. But anyway.
That is cool. Cool and scary.
It just goes to show you that, you can see about anything anywhere, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, nowadays.
So
sure.
Speak, so. With that, my friend, let's talk about our guest tonight.
Yep.
Bringing on Yowie Dan from Australia.
Ah, Australia. Another one from down under.
Yes, sir. Yowie Dan's been on several documentaries on Tubi. And if you just Google Australian Bigfooter or Yowie, it'll pop up. He's been on 2 or 3 on there. And we're going to bring him on and talk about his encounters and experiences and what he's got going on there in Australia, mate. So are you ready?
Awesome. Yep, let's get him. Dan, how you doing?
Good, thanks, guys. How are yourselves?
Real good. Glad to have you.
Yowie Dan, thanks for being on the show with us tonight.
It's great to be on the show. Always love talking about my favorite cryptid, the Yowie.
You are a Yowie investigator there in Australia. You have Australian Yowie on YouTube, is that right?
Yes, it goes under Australian Yowie, and Yowie Dan's that's me.
Okay. And then you've also been in a couple documentaries as well. What got you started in all this, and how long ago was that?
It was way back in 2005, and I used to train some greyhounds as a hobby, and I was down there with one of my dogs in a place called Appin, which is about 75 kilometres south of Sydney, and I was just waiting for my trial, and my dog turns around and decides to bark crazy into the bush. Instead of worrying about the lure to race, she was worried about what's in the bush, and I'm just like, what's going on? Because it's a winter time, it's really cold, and it wasn't a circular track, it's a straight track, and I was right down the bottom at the bottom boxes by myself. All the other people are a couple of 100 meters away, and it was about 7:30 in the morning in July, which is winter time here, and all of a sudden my dog barks. And then within about, I'd say happened really quick. This all happened within about 10 to 15 seconds, and all the bushes were shaking. There was a big gum tree that was probably about 20 foot tall. It was just getting like smashed to the side, and you hear the roots cracking in the ground. And then my dog's pushing me back into the starting boxes to try and get away. And then you just heard this big, like a scream, like a bellow, like a roar, with something like I always say to people, the size of a chest of Andre the Giant or more. I can't even get anywhere near of this sound. It sounded like an elephant and a lion and all these different wild animals all screaming at once. And then it took off through the bush, and then you could hear like the feet hitting the ground every time it took a step. And they were large steps. They were probably a good, I'd say, it was a couple of seconds between each footfall. So you're looking at 6 foot and over each time they hit the stride on the ground. And it was sounding like the biggest sledgehammer getting smashed into hard ground as it took off through the bush. And me and the greyhound went, see you later, we're out of here. So, yeah, that was my introduction into a Yowie encounter.
Very cool. Also, we know that I was watching, like I said, one of your documentaries there. You actually had filmed a Bigfoot unknowingly. Tell us about that.
Well, that was at Glenbrook, and that was in 2013. And I'd only gone down there because I'd had an injury with one of my feet, and I was a bit jealous of everyone else going out. So I thought I'd give it a chance and go along this trail. It was pretty flat. Anyway, I got into an area that I'd been researching, and I found a tree. Even though the trunk was only like not really big, you couldn't break this tree, but it was snapped about halfway up. And so I was down in the creek bed, and I got my camera, which is pretty similar to this one here, but this is a digital one, so pretty similar. So I've opened it up. I've put it on the ground, actually on a rock, to film me trying to break this tree, small tree. And in the background, about, I'd say, I think I worked it out as about 45, 50 feet away, there was something standing there next to this rock ledge, which I measured at its height was 3 meters or 12 foot tall. And the head of this creature was maybe a foot and a half lower than the top of that ridge. And the angle that I filmed it at, there's nothing there, but, there's no rock ledge. The ledge actually goes around like a big S shape. So there was nothing there. And you could see in the 6 frames that I got it, like it's turning around to go away from me. And I actually had a cold, and I was coughing, and I was trying to break it. And my mind, all my attention was on that, not looking up there. But what I do is every time out in film, I'll watch that footage on my TV or my computer, and I'll just go over it 3 or 4 times to see if I've picked anything up. And this time I did. So I've taken people there that have been a bit, I'm not sure what it is, because the way the camera was set up to film it, it doesn't tell you the whole story. You got to go there to really realize, like, this rock ledge is so high. I'd have to stand, I'm nearly 6 foot, so I'd have to stand on my shoulders to touch the top. And until you go there, then you can understand of, like, oh, gee, yeah, something really tall did stand there on the angle. That, because I was lower in the creek bed, so I had to angle up the camera to film it pretty much like that. So it raises up, but it's not that far away. It does look further away than what it was, but yeah, it's only like 45, 50 foot away.
Go ahead. Is that on your YouTube channel, that video?
Yeah, that's the one that's, when you first go to my channel, you'll see one that's pin posted at the top, and it's called the Glenbrook Yowie.
Oh, okay.
And what made you choose that area to go researching? Just some sightings around there, or what?
Well, there's been sightings all through the Blue Mountains, but it was just basically because of my injury, and it was the easiest trail that I knew to get to a spot that I knew that I'd set little sound recorders up, and I've got something running past pretty much where that was filmed, leaping off a 2 meter like ledge into the creek, and you hear the foot hit the sand here like a thud, and then it's walking through the water. You can hear the gurgling of the water going around its feet as it's walking through the water. And that was like about 3 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't that much before this happened, maybe a month or so. And it was about -4 conditions. So no one was out there at 3 o'clock in the morning walking through. And this is off the trail. This is not on the trail. This is places that I go to set up my gear is as far away as I can get from human, because I don't want it to be a chance it's a human. And then you're thinking, oh, something's walking around bipedally, but it's a human. So that's why I was out there. But yeah, that's why I was there, because I was getting some sound recordings from that area. And I did set up a trail cam or two, never managed to pick anything up, but I did get some good sound recordings. So that's why I was there.
And are those on your channel as well?
I think I made a video called My Top 10 Sound Recordings, and some of them recordings are on there. Yeah, and it does say Glenbrook and the date. Yeah.
So the two documentaries you're in, Track, searching for the Australian Bigfoot, and then Tracking the Lore, right? Are those the two that you were in?
Yes.
Okay. Which one was the one that you had the film? I can't remember. That you actually filmed the Bigfoot in when you were in the creek bed. The Tracking the Lore, the one with the creek. I think I'm pretty sure it's the first one. Yes, is it?
Because
okay.
we took down Tony Jinks, and he's off the top of my head, I can't, but he works in a university and does lectures, and he wanted to see that. And then, he'd never seen it before, so he was convinced that, yes, I've changed the way I thought about it from actually being in that area to what I could see on the footage. Like I said, you have to really go there to understand it a lot more.
Yeah, and in the footage, like I said, I just watched this earlier. There's something there. You see it standing there, and you see it start to move. And then, when you guys go there, you can look at it and see that there's nothing there now, all right? I mean, it's obvious. It's not like it was just something part of the rock cliff or whatever. There was something moving, tall, very tall and dark. And you just happen to get lucky, and just by setting your camera down to try to snap a broken branch that thing probably had just got done snapping. Who knows?
Yeah, I didn't smell it. I didn't hear it. Didn't see it. I just got it in the footage, and I picked it up later. So yeah, just lucky.
Have you been going back to that area and having any luck since then, or?
I haven't gone back there for a while. I did go back there. This is 2013, and I was on and off there for a while. But then we had those major bushfires, and in 2019, 2020, and everything just went quiet. There's a lot of places in the mountains that they just got destroyed, where usually you see bushfires go through areas and you still see tree stumps. There was nothing. All it was just this grey dirt from everything burnt, and just the rocks for miles. There was nothing. It just destroyed everything. If it couldn't get burnt, it was still there. If it could get burnt, it was gone. The places that had like cars that had been stolen and dumped in areas, even the parts that were like the rims of the wheels were melted. Like, that's how hot the actual fire got. So it's been a bit hard lately to work out exactly where they are. Some of the places that I've been going over the years, I've set some sound recorders up and trail cams, and I've just got nothing. I've just got noises like kookaburras and magpies and just the normal animals that people know about. But as far as the yowies, no wood knocks, no noises whatsoever. So I've just kind of let it lie a little bit in that area. Been trying a few other areas to see if I can find something, but at the moment it's summertime here. You've got all the dangerous animals out, like the brown snakes, the tiger snake. You get bit by a brown snake out there, you're not getting back out. You'll be dead in half an hour. So yeah, and they're big and they're angry and they'll chase you. So it's the second most deadliest snake in the world, but to me it's the most deadliest because every year you hear a couple of people die from snake bites, and it's the eastern brown snake. So it's so I've got to worry about that, because where I go, I'm always going off trail around the rocky areas and climbing up and down ridges, and that's where they are. So that's what kind of, I don't do much in the summertime. It's more autumn and winter. You just got to worry about the leeches, which don't bother me. But with this time of the year, you got two really dangerous creatures out there. You got the brown snake, and you've got the funnel web spider. So the funnel web spider, you get bit by one of them, it's just as bad as the brown snake. You ain't got much time. So if I'm 4 or 5 Ks in the bush, I'm not getting out. So that's what kind of stops me from going to them places. Yeah.
Any possibility that they could go underground there in the mountains, like caves?
Well, the Blue Mountains is more sandstone, but there is caves there. But the Jenolan Caves is more the limestone. That's the other side of the Blue Mountains. But there's that much area there that has not been discovered by humans. There's big overhangs. There is small caves, but they're not deep. They might only go in a few meters. But quite possibly live in one of the areas where no one's been to. It's really hard to get to. Because I've done a hike that was out near Jenolan Caves. It's called the K to K. So it's Kanangra to Katoomba, and it's like 55 kilometres. And we actually hiked through there, and there's places in there that you just can't get in. It's just too rough. And we hiked there, and we did, I think it was 3 nights, 4 days. And when we got met by the person that was picking us up, they thought it looked like we just come out of a concentration camp. We lost that much weight just in that time, because that's how hard it was. Yeah. I was supposed to do Yowie research, but only did 1 night because we're too tired. We just went straight to sleep after it was like an 8-hour hike from A to B, from where you went one camp to the next camp, and there was nothing flat about it. It was all uphill or downhill the whole way. It was crazy.
Australia has some of the thickest wilderness, you guys call it the bush, I guess, there, that I've ever seen, and it's incredible. It's like a jungle in some areas over there, is it not?
Yeah, well, if you go north of I'm in New South Wales, so that's where Sydney is, and then north of that is the state of Queensland, and that's more tropical because you're getting up towards the equator there, and especially up the top of Cairns and the areas around there, they're probably worse than what I've got to deal with down here, because it's a different climate. They've got different trees and vines, and you've got one plant there that if you touch it, you're in pain for about 6 months. Like, it's really bad. You just touch it like that, the needles go in and it just constantly gives you pain. Nothing gets rid of the pain. I can't remember the name of it because I don't have to deal with it. So, yes, we've even got plants that want to hurt you. But, yeah, the bush is really thick, and, it really, you can hurt yourself if you take the wrong step.
How do you live down there?
You grow up here. Like, we got it just
I guess you learn, but
just in my backyard. But everyone's got redback spiders, like black widows, but they got red on the back. So we get taught when we're younger, if you're going to pick something up like a rock, just kick it over first and see what's underneath it, because you can get really sick from redbacks. They can kill you, but you don't want to get bit by one of them. So you've got to be off to hospital. So it's just in our backyard. We've got things that can kill us. So.
Well, yeah, the average lifespan of Australian is 32 anyway, so, you know.
Well, I'm an old codger then, so I'm 52, so.
So here in America, you either are a believer of Bigfoot or you're not. Some people are skeptical, but for a while there, you know, it was kind of like you got made fun of if you believed in Bigfoot, for the most part, from a lot of people. What's the whole Yowie feel over there in Australia? Do a lot of people believe in it? Do a lot of people think it's ridiculous, like over here? How does that play into over there?
Yeah, I think it's the same. For a long time, if you mentioned something about a Yowie or something and you're researching them, people look at you like twice, like, well, are you for real? Like, they're not real, you know, like, but I've had people that have come back to me after a while of, you know, when I said, oh yeah, I go out looking for the Yowie, and I got video footage, and I show them footage that what we've got. And you get a phone call. Oh, I was out fishing along the Hawkesbury River and something was chasing us through the bush and throwing rocks, and it wasn't a person because it was too big. And these are the people that have been they've been skeptical to me. Next minute they're like, hey, this could be real. I'm like, I'm telling you, they're out there. It's until you have an encounter and something happens that you cannot explain. You can't say it's not a kangaroo, it's not a wombat, it's not a possum, it's not a person, it's not any like a horse or a cow or anything. And you're like, what was it? And that's when that gets people thinking. But there is a lot of people out there that the Facebook groups have given a chance to speak out because other people are like-minded. And Dean Harrison's Australian Yowie research page, you can go on there and you can write your story of what happened to you, and it'll get put up in a list of all the other reports.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right, and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything, from the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Through all the different states, and people can read them, and you can put your name to it, or you can just put anonymous. So it's an avenue to give people, to just let it out. And I actually had a guy the other day from Western Australia. He's on the other side of the country, and he messaged me and he said, "Oh, yeah, I seen you on a podcast. Can I tell you what happened to me? Because no one will believe me." And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me." And then I start saying, "Well, some of the things that happened to you have happened to me." And in the end, he says, "Oh, thanks for believing me." And I'm like, "Mate, they're out there. I'm telling you, there. Just keep your eyes open." Because he was in a like a camper van, and he out just with his dog, and then his dog was going crazy and just didn't want to go stay outside. And that happens in a lot of times where the dogs just freak out. And he said he just got that feeling something was watching him, and then he just got spooked out, and then just a couple of things happened. And he just got the car and he just kind of like took off through the bush in the car to make his own way out. And so there's always people having encounters that are skeptical beforehand. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there will laugh at me, but even at work, they all call me Yowie because they know I go out. And I'm a person that has come out and said, yeah, I do this and this is what I like doing. And, people make fun of you and I don't care. I'm going out enjoying the bush. I met so many good and great people along the way. And what are you guys doing? Walking around in the concrete jungle in the city? Go out in the bush. It's heaps better.
2-part question. Are there sightings pretty much all over Australia? And do you map those out at all?
I don't map them out. The AYR, Australian Yowie Research, is the best place to go if you want to see any where they've been recorded. There was one just up at Lura. I've seen on the internet. There was someone saw one at Lura, which is the Blue Mountains. That's where I go. They're all seen. So what we've got a few different types. Up in the top in Northern Territory in Queensland, right up the top of Australia, they call them the Quincan. They're supposed to be up to 12 foot tall, real long, skinny fellas. And then you've got the Dooligal or the Yowie, and they're the normal ones that look like Bigfoot, big size, 7, 8, 10 foot tall. And then you've got the Jungity, which I have seen one at Glenbrook as well. And it was paralleling me through the bush for about 800 metres until I thought I got to this area before it did. And it was already there looking at me from around a tree. And they're only about 3 foot tall. And they look like, just small features, like little dwarfs. And so we've got a few different types. And like the Jungity or Junjari, or they call them brown jacks over in Western Australia, they'll try and steal your stuff. So if you've got camping gear, they'll come around and they'll try and take it. And there's been times when people have been sleeping in cabins and they've left the door open because it's hot, and they'll come in and they'll kind of shake the people, and people have woken up and seen this hairy little creature there and screamed, and it's taken off. So yeah, they've been seen everywhere all around Australia over the years, from when the first fleet first turned up here in 1788 and they started spreading out. They started seeing what they were calling the Australian gorilla. And there's been articles in newspapers about the Australian gorilla. and there's a little bay in Sydney, and it's called Yowie Bay. So they must have seen them there, and they've called it Yowie Bay. So yeah, they're all over Australia.
Dumb question. You guys don't have gorillas in Australia? No. Only in a zoo.
No, we're not supposed to have any. Yeah, just in the zoo, in Taronga Zoo in the city.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay, I didn't think so. Earlier we were talking. You said July was your winter time. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Our summertime is it's spring now. Our summer is like December, January, February, and then it goes straight into autumn. So after that, so July, June, August is our winter time, and that's when I usually go out between. It's still hot in March, April. It's not until about May, June, July, August, September I go out. That's
the exact opposite of us. Our winter is November, December, January, February, sometimes March, sometimes it snows in April. Do you get any snow there at all?
Actually, we do get snow. We have snowfields down past Canberra. So Canberra's our nation's capital, and it's actually a territory within New South Wales. And down south of there, they get snow like Cooma, Perisher Valley, Victoria, which is the state underneath us. They have Mount Buller, I think Mount Hotham. They get snow. So we get snow, but the Blue Mountains, when you get to the other side, just before you go down, like Blackheath, and when you go down, you've got Oberon. They do get snow there on occasions, and it wasn't that long ago that they actually snowed there. Not heavy, but it's all white. But we just had 40 degrees 2 days ago Celsius. I think it was 105 or something Fahrenheit. So this is the spring. So it's going to be an awfully hot summer. We're going to have some really bad days here this summer. We're going to cook.
We'll be thinking about you when we're freezing our tail off over here.
Well, yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope you don't burn again like it did last time. That was terrible.
Yeah, I know. It went everywhere. That was crazy. It's just they don't.
I remember watching that.
The reason what it is, the do-gooders, the greenies are telling people not to do backburning, not to burning. It's going to wreck the bush. And then what happened? Big fire come and went crazy mad. And after that, they were just zipped up. They just shut their mouths, and they knew they were in the wrong. And the reason why these things are happening, way back before the white men come, the indigenous would burn these areas. And they burn them and then leave, and then they come back. So that would be all grown, and the animals would come in to eat all the new growth, and then they'd get the kangaroos to eat, and that's how they do it, and they keep burning it so it wouldn't go crazy. But then the white man comes in, doesn't do the same thing, and it all just builds up. And when the fire comes, the actual leaves of the gum leaf, they're actually, you light them up, they go off like firecrackers. So you just imagine 1 million of them going off at once. And it's just mental. That was a bad fire, that one. Hope we don't see one of them again.
Do you think it's possible any Yowies perished in those fires?
Oh, of course. And just going back to that, the bush, how they don't manage it. I've walked into valleys where I'm like sometimes nearly between my knees and my hips, deep of just loose leaves and sticks. So you've got, 2.5 foot deep of just leaves and that's, sitting there. It's just like a time bomb ready to go off. So, there had to be animals. They reckon up to like 1 million animals got burnt in those fires or more, from koalas to possums to, anything that lives in the bush. So, quite possibly, if they got burnt, got caught, there was no bones left over. Everything was just dust by the end of it. Yeah. So, of course, they would have got caught for sure.
So what other kind of cryptids do you guys have over there in Australia? Do you research anything else besides the Yowie?
Well, we're supposed to have one called the bunyip, which lives in waterways. I'm not sure if it's actually a real creature, but it's from the indigenous Dreamtime stories. It's like your American Indians would have their, I think they got the Thunderbirds and all that. So there's different kind of stories. Then the people are saying there's some sort of dinosaur that runs around in the middle of Australia. Don't know about that one. Well, we had the Tasmanian tiger, which was a known animal, but got hunted to extinction. But there's been sightings of it around. I've been told by a friend that he went to a party in the middle of the bush in Tasmania where that's where they were found. And a guy that lived there said, "Oh yeah, there's a whole family of them running around here, but they don't. If it's true, they're just protecting them because they don't want to tell anyone and take photos and have everyone come around to see them." But you've had park rangers seeing Tasmanian tigers. There is what other creatures do we have? I think the Yowie's the main one. You got the bunyip. I think the one that's the dinosaur is the burrendore, I think it is, or budgendore, something like that. I haven't gone too much into them because my normal life and working life and Yowie researching takes up all my time. So I thought I'd just concentrate on one animal to try and get the best results.
Have you ever heard of any kind of dogman encounters over there in Australia?
Well, during the filming of I think it's Tracking the Law, and there was a guy that said he had an encounter while he was fishing in a creek, which is not too far from here, only about a half an hour car ride, and he ended up snapping a photo with his phone, and the picture looks like a dog, like a face like an Alsatian. And when we went there, we had to get on little canoes, kayaks to go up the river to this area. And we found like a den, like a little cave, not a cave, but it was like a little den area under this thick bush. And where we worked out where it was by the trees, even though a lot had changed, I think it was about a year apart since we filmed till then, when it was filmed, we actually found that the creature would have to be 3 meters plus to get to looking at him while he was in his canoe, because there was nothing for a big creature to hold on to climb up. There was nothing that would hold up weight. It was just small trees that even if I got up there, the tree would fall over. There was nothing substantial to hold up. So we thought, whatever was there looking at him had to be 3 meters tall. So yeah, that's the only encounter I know of about that something had a dog looking face. But people have talked about dogman here, but I'm not sure. They've had encounters where people have said on the AYR reports that, its face kind of looked canine, but there's not too many like you guys in America.
So you get a lot of people coming forward to you to tell their Yowie encounters, and what's some of the best ones you've heard?
Yeah, well, I had the guy the other day. I'd get people more messaging me on the videos on my YouTube channel, but people do private message me. But it's basically the same story. They're out camping, never had anything, happen to them before that was unusual. They've been camping in the same spot for 20 years. Every holidays they get, and next minute something's just get in the bush and just go, because they grab the bush, the Yowies, and they shake them to try and scare you away. And then they might hear a couple of wood knocks, and something might come around and creep around while they're on the campfire, and they just get spooked out. And in the end, they just leave because they just think, what is it? They're not sure. They kind of know it's not a human. And then they might get red eye shine, and they're thinking, what's got red eyes? And then things start going through their mind, and everyone's seen horror films, and there's always something with red eyes or yellow eyes, and they get spooked, and as soon as the daylight's coming, they're out of there. So it's basically the same story over and over again.
Do you have people that get a hold of you that want to have you take them out?
All the time. Yeah. They want to come out with you. And I'm like, all right. So I've taken a few people out, mainly just in the daytime. I just tell them this is where we film this, and we'll have a look around. And sometimes we've found some interesting things that we can't explain. But yeah, I get people asking me all the time. But it's just that at the moment I'm not going out at all because of the heat and for other reasons. But I get people asking to go out. I think they're scared to go out by themselves. They just want someone that they know has gone out into the bush and they feel more safe when they go out, because you can easily get lost in the mountains. I'm out there all the time, so I know all the landmarks. And if you get lost and you're in the southern area, all you got to do is turn around and walk north, and you'll come to the Great Western Highway. So that runs straight over the mountains from east to west, and that's where it basically follows the same road that the first explorers went over, and it took them 21 days to get over the mountains and back, and to find more land, because New South Wales, when we first had the colony, was just inside Sydney in the mountains. And once they went over in 1813, didn't take them long, and then it took them 7 months to make a road with the convicts, a 12-foot wide road. And so there's a lot of history in the Blue Mountains, not Yowie related, that I actually go out and look for as well. And I've come across, and that's why I have a history channel, Blue Mountains History with Yowie Dan, it's called, because I kept on finding so much history while out researching for Yowies. So there's not only cryptid stuff, there's also stuff that people have left from 100 years ago, and it's still sitting out in the bush, like big boilers and railway lines and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that stuff would be cool to find on its own.
Yeah, it is.
That'd be fun.
That's why I like going out and doing it. So, I know a lot more of the history of the mountains, and there's been a lot of characters over the years that I've done some stories on.
Go ahead and give us one.
There was a man by the name of Robert Scott, and no one knows where he came from. And he lived in a cave, like an overhang in Springwood, and he had a dog called Paddy, like a little, probably, we call him a mongrel, which is like, 4 or 5 different dog breeds all rolled into one. So we just call them mongrels. Anyway, so probably a fox terrier and all kind of different terriers all rolled into one. Anyway, so this guy, Robert Scott, used to do just work for people because he was homeless and lived in the cave. And one day his dog got bit by a snake, so probably a brown snake. So in that area, he scratched in a little note saying in the rock saying, Paddy, a true pal, killed here. And then in 2 other places, he scratched little memorials to Paddy as well. And that was just one little story about a man that, he lost his dog, his true pal, and he got bit by a snake, so he thought he'd make memorials around the mountains about him. And then there was another man, and by the surname of Murphy, and they called him the Hermit of Hat Hill, because Hat Hill Road goes from the highway out to some hiking trails, and he built a hut there. And people used to go out there, and he used to feed all the animals, and all the tourists would turn up. And this is in the late, this is about 1913 to about 1920-ish, and he'd feed all the animals. So the tourists would turn up and watch Mr. Murphy feed all the animals. And he would make little brooms and sell them. And then a massive fire come through and burnt down his hut. And he had to get taken away to a friend's house in Sydney, and he lived there for a while. But there's just people come out of nowhere and just turn up in the Blue Mountains, and there's just some wonderful stories that they leave in a legacy.
Do you guys believe in the woo over there, what they call the woo, the paranormal side of Yowies and Bigfoots?
Yeah, well, they say some people are talking about Yowies that come get dropped down by UFOs. I'm not really a believer of that. Like, I've got to see it to believe it. But out of when we filmed Tracking the Law, I cannot dismiss anything now and say, no, it doesn't mean because I don't believe it, doesn't mean I don't say it's not true. Because while we were filming Tracking the Law, we would see these orbs going flying through the bush, like blue and red and green, and we'd be in the Jamison Valley where the Three Sisters are. It's the main attraction there. Anyway, and then one day we come out from filming in the valley, and we thought we'd set up our tents because we had nothing set up. We'll set our tents up, and then so we thought we'll make a little fire first. So when I'm sitting down, and then this big ghost goes flying along the trail, it was like, Ghostbusters, the first ghost it's in the library. It looked like that, and it was just going along, and we all saw it, and we're like, what the hell? So they got a bit spooked out, the boys, and I'm like, no, I want to stay here. I want to see what's going on. So anyway, to keep everyone comfortable and happy, I thought, all right, I'll go up with you. So we're hiking out along this trail to get out. Didn't put our torches on. We thought, something comes along during the, we can film it. So we've got no torches. It's like pitch black. Your eyes do get adjusted to the light. So it was probably about a 4-kilometer hike, and a flat hike until you get to the Golden Staircase, and it's straight up the mountain. And as we were about halfway there, something yells out like it's a WWE wrestler and goes, "Watch out!" And it's just like 3 a.m. in the morning after we've seen this ghost, and I'm like, boys, did you guys tell me to watch out? And they're like, no, because they're like 20 meters away from me. And my son just told me to watch out, like it was one of those wrestlers from WWE, like a real loud, croaky voice. So there's been some really weird things happening out there. I got a thermal monocular, and before I had that, right at the start of filming Search for Australia's Bigfoot, we're in a place called Hazelbrook, and it's been known for Bigfoot Yowie encounters. Anyway, we were filming there, and we finished. Not much happened, so we've gone to the cars, and we're at the car park there where the lock gate is. And after about 20 minutes of just, talking, one of the boys sees something run across the road. He said he didn't hop, it ran. It was like this little black thing. I'm like, what? Anyway, it turned up. It was like a Slender Man kind of creature that never showed up in a heat signature in a thermal. Even though it should have shown up bright yellow, it still stayed black. And I'm like, no, I didn't see nothing. And they're going, yeah, it's over there. And I'm like, nothing there. And then I saw it appear in between these two massive rocks. And then I went, yeah. And then it disappeared, and it turned up over there, and then it turned back over there. And then we're like, the boys like, oh, we're getting out of here now. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, but it appeared different sizes to people, where one person said, it was only about 3 foot tall. I said it was only about 5 foot tall, and the other guy said, no, it's 7 foot tall. So we all saw it at different sizes, which was really weird as well. And one of the guys actually left a torch down in the valley, and I was going down there a week later. I said, I'll go get it for you if I find it. So eventually I found his torch. It was in an area that we stopped for a bit of a rest while we were hiking through there, while we were filming.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Black Friday deals are going on all month long. Save up to 45% off site-wide, plus an additional 10% off every order right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
And it was raining. So I set up my gear, and I come out. And as I come out, I got that sense like something was watching me. But later on, when I got to the top where that black figure was, the car park was right next to it. It sounded like someone had like a what we call a billy, which is like a metal tin container where you boil your water in, and like a metal spoon went whack and hit it. And there's no one there. And I just thought, that was pretty weird. Like, it was metal on metal, clearly hit. And I just come through that area, and there was no one there. There's no trail there. You got to bush bash it to get down this ridge. I'm thinking, that's weird. Something's going on here. So, yeah, some really weird things happen. And then one more thing that happened to us while we're filming track, we have these things called min lights. It's basically a ball of light that follows people. But that's up in a place called Min up in, I think, around Queensland. But we were sitting there, and it was probably 2:30, and we thought we'd have a coffee because we're getting a bit tired to keep us going through the night, because we thought something would happen, and we'll have a rest, and we'll go back and we'll check out and see if we can get some more footage. And I said to one of the boys, gee, the bush about 100 metres up, because our cars are parked on the side of the road, Mount Hay Road, and it leads to an area, Mount Hay, and it was about 10 kilometres long dirt road, and we were probably 3/4 of the way along. And I'm looking back where the road kind of turns and then goes uphill and then it goes out the other side. And I'm looking at where it turns about 80 metres up. And I'm like, boys, the whole area lit up like daytime, like the sun just turned up and it lit that bush up. And they're like, what? I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, it lit up like daytime, not false light. It's like the sun just appeared there and lit that little area up. And they're going, what? So I'm standing there like this on the road for 20 minutes and thinking, should I get my camera and just put night vision on and just put it on? And I'm like, I just knocked my head. I'm like, should have done it. 5 minutes later, this big fireball orb thing, like a mini sun, come out of the bush. Had a red ring around the end. It was like flames, and the whole place lit up like daytime. And then when I just went, what the hell is that? Attila's tall man, he's about 6'4". He just jumped, leaped behind me, and he's like, what the hell? And then it blew up for a second and lit everything up like daytime for a split second, and then it went dark. And we're like, what the hell was that? So we went running up, and Attila's got it on footage, like us just going, what's going on? What is it? What was that? So it has been seen before, but I thought I'd never see anything like that. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's what things you get out here when you're looking for yowies. You get all this other stuff happening. And it's not until you go out there this can happen to you. It was just, I want to see it again, but I don't think I'll ever will.
Very strange. I don't know what to think of that. Could that be alien related, or is that something else, or
Don't know. I don't know. People say sometimes it could be like something to do with static electricity. There's no storms. There was crystal clear sky, no wind, nothing. It was a great night to research. You could hear everything. You see really far. There was no reason for a fiery ball to come out of the bush and light everything up like daytime. Oh yeah, I don't know. But like I filmed UFOs flying over us too with my thermal. I think I sent you a video of that the other day on the messenger. So yeah, we're out there filming in an area called Penrose State Forest, and we were there 2 weeks earlier, and there was heaps of animals like kangaroos. We'd see foxes, and we'd see wombats, possums. There was a lot of animals around. But when we went there 2 weeks later, we said, gee, it's really weird. There's no animals around here. And then I was filming all the little microbats, and then just boom, this little round object in the sky just comes straight over me, come out of nowhere, and we couldn't see it without using the thermal. So that was weird.
You do have a lot of UFO activity out there in some of those mountains.
Yeah, the Blue Mountains has got, that just reminds me, we're hiking out up the Golden Staircase, and we get 3/4 of the way up, and it says, don't stand here because there's the area's a bit rocky and rocks could fall. And I said to Attila, what's that down there? He goes, oh, that's where Rex Gilroy reckons there's a UFO base, and there's two white orbs. Like you're looking at, probably 10 Ks away, and these things are just flying around, and you can see them going through the bush because they're flickering. So you can, the light's flickering as they go through the bush, and we've seen that 3 or 4 times while going down in there to film. And so we've seen a few different UFOs, and Attila's actually just made a documentary called Archived, and it's all about old Australian like UFO sightings and stories of them. There was actually craft that landed in a place in Melbourne and in Victoria. What's the place again? I forget the name of it, but they actually landed in the 1960s, and the school children ran over to it, and one actually touched it, and then it took off. And there was, they said all military came around and told the teachers and the kids, you can't talk about it, you got to be quiet. And it only all kind of just come back out in the open again. But Attila's, they're old stories or new stories or ones that were really big stories in their day, but they've just, in time, they've just been, dulled down, and people are not talking about them no more. So he's brought them back out. And so if you see a documentary called Archived, it's about all the Australian, not all, but a lot of Australian UFO encounters. And watch it because it's really good. I've seen it, and I thought that's the best UFO documentary I've seen.
Is that on Tubi TV?
No, it'd probably be on like some sort of paid platform.
Okay.
Beforehand, like iTunes and all them, but it'd probably end up on Tubi. I'm not sure, but it hasn't come out yet. He's only just finished it. He's done a great job of that one. A lot of the stories I didn't even know about myself.
Yeah, your documentaries can be seen on Tubi, and Attila, was he the producer of those as well, I believe?
Yeah, Attila Cowdy. Yeah, he produced it, he made it. He's the one that walked around with backpacks weighing 40 kilos with batteries and cameras, and he did the hard yards, because when we went out, it was just basically him, me, and one other person. So it was like three of us out there to get the best results. And, he did some hard yards filming them. He's not walking around, got people with clipboards and catering trucks turning up. No, when we went somewhere, we had to carry everything in and everything back out.
Yeah, you guys talk about the fires in one of those documentaries as well. I remember.
Yeah, that's Tracking the Law. Yeah, that was made after the fires, Tracking the Law. Yeah. And we actually went out to places where we'd been before and filmed a little bit and just seen how much it changed. And yeah, it was incredible how much damage was done. Yeah.
What do you think Yowies are? And do you think they'll ever be discovered by science?
Well, when you look at the Yowies, and we've got the small one, the Junjidi, all through the Southeast Asia, they've all got their different types of Yowie. So you've got the Capre, which is from the Philippines, the Aswang from the Philippines, you got the Ebu Gogu, you got the rock apes from Vietnam, you've all got your Orang Pendek from Indonesia, and then you've got Homo floresiensis, which is actually a creature like a small man. They actually dug up the bones. So they've actually come through all through there. And when they've had I think it was the last ice age, and they had all the land was all joined up, they made their way into Australia. So I think they're just a normal kind of humanish type creature, but they've gone their own branch, because you've had the archaic humans, the Denisovans, the Neanderthals. So there's all different types. I think they're just one type of a human type creature, and they're on their own tree. And they're very smart animals too. Like they blend into their environment. And people say, oh, well, how could something that big blend into the environment where you can't see it? Well, there's that many times I've been walking and there's kangaroos in the bush, and some of the grey kangaroos and the red kangaroos, the males stand up, they're 7 foot tall. And sometimes when you're walking, you don't see them until they move, and they're only like 2 or 3 meters from you in the bush. So, anything can blend in the bush. I've stood in the bush along a tree line with just green on, and people have been walking along the trail and they're looking down at me, and you can tell they're not seeing me. I'm just standing there I'll do a bit of scientific work here, and I'll see if they can see me. None of them even saw me, because when they see you, they kind of go, oh, there's someone down there. They react to it. None of them react to it. And it was about 7 or 8 people. None of them saw me. And I'm just standing there with a backpack on and green pants and green shirt. So I wasn't even like, these animals are the colours of the bush. So they got the greys and and that kind of browny colour and all that. So they blend in quite well.
Do you guys have deer over there? I'm sorry for even not knowing this. I should know this.
Deer, yeah, we got deer. Yeah, we got deer, we got rabbits. All
okay.
Them, yeah.
Okay. I wondered, here, supposedly, Bigfoot's main diet is deer, I believe, here in America. I wonder what it would be over there. Would it be deer? Would it be kangaroo? Do you think they go after kangaroo and stuff like that? Or
yeah, got wild pigs, and they get really big. So, they come after you. They're a dangerous animal here as well. So, yeah, there was actually up the Queensland, I'm sure it was Queensland, workmen found a pig ripped apart. So you can tell it wasn't cut, it was ripped apart, and there was these big footprints around it. I think if you look that up, I'm not sure what video, but there was all these big footprints around it. So you got kangaroos, you got rabbits, there's plenty of smaller animals too. There's a lot of wild plants here that are native to Australia. They got nuts and berries on them. So and they all kind of grow at different times of the year. So they're just going to be like any indigenous tribe. Once you've exhausted the food there, you move on. So they'd be moving around the mountains, and the Blue Mountains is huge. When you look at the mountain range that the Blue Mountains is part of, they call it Blue Mountains because when it gets hot, all the if you're at a distance driving towards there, the oil that's in the leaves. It kind of comes out of the leaves and it goes in the air and it gives that kind of blue tinge to the mountains. So that's why they got called Blue Mountains. So it's in the wintertime, it's more, they're greener, but summer they go to blue tinge. But that's the Blue Mountains are part of the Great Dividing Range, which goes nearly all the way from the top of Australia all the way down to the bottom through the 3 states of Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria. And when you look at, you get Australia nearly covers America. So that shows you how long those mountain ranges are. And, so there's a lot to eat there. There's a lot of animals, a lot of birds. And there's a lot of times where they've been said that they've gone through bins up in the Blue Mountains. People have seen them going through the bins to get food too. So humans leave food as well.
Yeah, here in America, if there's restaurants really close to wooded areas where Bigfoots could reside, there's been stories of Bigfoots going through dumpsters and getting cheeseburgers, whatever they can find, you know. I meant to ask you, have you ever heard of the Sierra Sounds?
Yes, I'll listen to them. Sierra, that's what's his name? Who wears the hat?
Ron Moorhead.
Ron Moorhead. Yeah. No, they're. I've listened to them. I don't know how many times, and every time I come across them, I'll click on the video, and I've never heard that here, but there's a clip called the Ohio Sound, Ohio Howl.
Mm-hmm.
I recorded a howl here at Marramara, and it's exactly the same. If you listen to the Marramara howl and the Ohio howl, they're exactly the same.
Well, yeah, that's on the one documentary as well.
Well, you hear that in track. When you see the tape going out and you hear the howl, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered if anyone had heard their language over there, that if they speak, if it's kind of the same as it would be over here. Just thinking about that. If they do have a language and they do speak, is it the same everywhere? We both speak English, right? You and I and Brian, but is it a different language? Would they have a different language, you think? Or would it be universal?
I've heard of people talking about they've heard something sound like someone was talking a different language while they're in the bush, but I haven't heard of anyone recording it here, or it's the only thing that I've managed to record was kind of like finger clicks and like mouth popping, which apes do and I recorded that up at Falconbridge. But as far as I know, no one's recorded it, what they call samurai chatter, I think. No one's really recorded it here. I haven't come across it, or a few researchers I know that are still going out. No one's heard that, but it quite possibly they would probably do something similar, maybe because they're so far apart they might have changed languages and might be, I don't know, they might use it. I really don't know. It's got me stumped, that, because you'd think you'd hear more than what I've recorded. And we've been out a lot overnight in some places that are, before the fires, they're really no one would get to. We just camping straight in the bush, kilometres away from trails. I mean, you didn't hear anything. You'd hear wood knocks. I've had a rock thrown at my tent in the middle of nowhere. Yes, but not heard any language at all. I wish I'd love to. It'd be fantastic. It'd be so. It'd be a really good experience to, not have them throw rocks at me, but anyone sort of a like weird sound like Ron Moorhead recorded, that would be fantastic.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Yeah, I'd just be curious to know if it's the same, if they have a universal language,
or maybe they speak a language like the Aborigines.
Well, the Aboriginals said they've done dealings with the Yowies, over time and stuff, but probably now in this day and age, that's probably all been stopped since the white man turned up. So, they said the Aboriginals said, the Yowies looked after the land and they were kind of like the bosses there, and they had their areas as well where the Aboriginals wouldn't go. They say, no, don't go down there. That's the Yowies area. This is where we go. So don't go down there. So yeah, there's folklore about that as well.
Well, Dan, we want to thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight, man. We appreciate it.
I hope you get some heat relief here pretty soon.
Yeah, but not too hot. And watch out for those brown snakes and those spiders.
I will do. I've got snake gaiters on, which protect my legs, and I'm staying away from them.
All right. We'll keep in touch, Yowie Dan. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you again.
Okay, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye.
I just love having those guys on from other countries, Australia, England.
They're fun to talk to.
Yeah.
But again, as we know, there's everything in Australia wants to kill you. So.
No kidding. And they talk about the wet season there, how it just kind of floods in that northern. I was checking that on the map. That northern area and here comes the crocodiles and the pythons, and it's like, yeah, you're right. Everything will kill you. Sharks.
Everything once you did in Australia.
And it comes inland big time. If you look at that on the map, it's not just a couple miles. It's a lot. It's a lot of land.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It'd be a crazy.
I still want to go visit there, but
cool place to visit, but not a place I want to live. So.
No.
But awesome having Yowie Dan on, man. Great talking to him.
Yeah, he was fun. Yeah, that was a good time.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you've had an encounter and want to come on the show and talk about your encounter, email us at info@cryptidcreatures.co.
That's right.
Get a hold of us on social media. We're everywhere, right, Brian?
Any of the social medias, yeah, we're everywhere you want to be.
All right, brother. Great hanging out with you tonight again.
Always fun, brother. Always learning.
You ready to go?
Yep. See ya.
In Walmart's Huluville, everyone readied their cart. The early Black Friday deals are about to start. Online and in the app, such great deals to explore. Everything you love from tech, toys, and more. The days to save and the ones to remember are the 14th to the 16th of November. The Who's are all ready, but are you? Walmart Black Friday deals await. Who knew?